Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Coming up here is going to be our post-game reaction show after an embarrassing, jokeful loss, 24-0. The Raiders literally crossed midfield one time. This game is just an overall embarrassment and just shows to me that players don't play for Josh McDaniels. Mark Davis, I'm going to look at you in the eyes on behalf of Raider Nation here and say, when the hell are you going to fire McDaniels? I'm sorry. He's never going to be a good head coach. Derek Carr was shitting bricks the entire day. When your team is led by somebody that has no backbone in Josh McDaniels, when your team is led by somebody that as soon as that game started, Carr was playing like absolute shit, it then feeds off. Did the defense play well today? No. But when your offense can't cross midfield, when you have the amount of talent that they do, something needs to change. If the Raiders don't make the playoffs this season, I hope they get rid of Derek Carr. I hope they move on from Josh McDaniels. A performance today, to me, is just almost unforgivable. DC, 15-26, 101 yards and a pick. Jacobs couldn't get anything going on the ground. The offensive line sucked. Foster Moreau, 6 catches, 31 yards. I mean, to me, the fact that Hunter Renfrow and Davante Adams combined for 2 catches is bad on offense. But then on defense, we talked about keys to victory. You couldn't get any pressure on Andy Dalton. You let Taysom Hill beat the shit out of you in the running game. Alvin Kamara didn't have a touchdown entering the game, scores 3. It's top to bottom. It was one of the most embarrassing games I've ever seen, and it's going to fall on the coaches. It falls on the players. Nobody was ready to go. It's unbelievable. So here's my question to everyone out there. Is the season over? You're 2-5. Why for yes and for no? And I want every single person to answer this question. Is the season over? The realistic answer is maybe. Can you still make the playoffs? Yes. You better be active, though, at the NFL trade deadline. The issue is I don't have confidence in McDaniels or Ziegler to make the right calls right now. I don't. Well, they've been lying here telling me that we don't need a defensive tackle. Well, that our offensive line is totally fine. Our defensive line right now, our guys in the trenches, we're getting beat the crap up against New Orleans. So to me, if you don't make a big-time deal, season's over. Because after the game that I saw today, that's not a team that deserves to win. I mean, look at these numbers. Total yards, 181. Passing, 143. Rushing, 38. 5 of 14 on third down. 6 for 59 offensive. The play calling was suspect. The third down play call where it's 3rd down and 1, they try to do an end around with Davante Adams. It's just proof that, again, and I've said it maybe 10 times already this season, Josh McDaniels overcomplicates the simple. The simple play call is hand the ball off to your running back, Josh Jacobs. Okay, you don't get it. It's 3rd down and 1. Now it's 4th down and 2. You're going to run a fake, and literally the entire Saints defense knew that a fake was coming. You give the Saints an early, easy touchdown field goal. I don't remember. I'm heated. For the Saints offense, total yards 367, 231 passing, 136 on the ground, 7-12 in 3rd down efficiency. They didn't really have many penalties against them, but this was a game totally, and I mean totally, handled by New Orleans. When you think about, okay, totally turning your season around, you can go 3-4, you're about to drop to 2-5. The Saints entering this game were 2-5. And I will never say that the season's over. I won't. That's just not in my blood. However, you got to be really worried, man. I don't know if McDaniels is going to be the guy ever. I personally don't believe in him. But watching that game, it just looked like nobody is playing for Josh. They had a really great connection with Rich Bisaccia, and it didn't help that not only your coaching staff had their thumb up their you-know-what the entire game, Derek played like shit. Like he did. This was Derek Carr's, get ready for this. This was Derek Carr's worst game of the season. This is worse than his game up against the Chargers where he threw 3 picks. I believe that. To me, he didn't look Davante Adams' way the entire first quarter. And then when he did, I thought he forced it. This offense is designing plays for Foster Moreau and checkdowns. And yeah, Darren Waller didn't play. This was a game, though, early on. Derek's, 0 for 4, 0 for 5, and you were like, oh, crap, he just doesn't have it today. He looks already frustrated. He's missing high. He's underthrowing. It was a bad game, man. The fact that Derek Carr couldn't get this offense that invested $344 million this offseason in its offense and 4 players in Derek Carr, Davante Adams, Hunter Renfrow, and Darren Waller couldn't even get across the 50-yard line, that's embarrassing. So how about this? Are you done with Derek Carr? Type 1 for yes or 0 for no. Derek does have a no-trade clause. It's not going to be likely that you're going to trade him. The only way that you can trade him is if he approves the trade. But you can move on from him after this season, and you can save $110 million. You can. You got 3 days to do it after the Super Bowl, but you could technically move on from Derek Carr after this season. And if they do move on from DC, we're going to be going live. We're going to be making a video about it. So hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications right now. Even if they don't move on from him, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about potential Derek Carr replacements this upcoming week. I'm telling you right now, you're going to get a new edition of Derek Carr replacements this week because that needs to happen. Hell, I might even do Josh McDaniels replacements. If it was up to me, I wouldn't even let McDaniels get on the Raiders plane. That's how bad a performance was tonight. Let's go to the next super chat coming in from Pico de Gallo. Pico, shout out to you, bro. At least you guys showed up to work today. Keep up the great work. Have a safe and happy Halloween. Pico, shout out to you. Jeremy, he dressed it up as Fat Bearded Dad. I dressed up as Harley Quinn for Savannah Jean. We rep with y'all. I love you guys very much. I take my job super seriously. It's just, it hurts. Seeing a game like that, it hurts. Let's go to Lucky Irish. Goodbye, Carr. Extend Jacobs. That's the other thing you could do. You could save the $110 million in Carr. You could save the $34 million that you would have gave Carr and give it to Jacobs. To me, he deserves it more. Jacobs has been a better offensive player than DC. I'm not a guy that usually believes in paying running backs, but if you move on from Derek, you need to have a solid running game for your new incoming quarterback, whether that be free agency, which I'm telling you all right now, the Raiders' options for quarterbacks next season is either going to be in the draft. If you don't make the playoffs, you're moving on from Carr, in my opinion. It's going to be in the draft or Jimmy Garoppolo. Those are your two options. Both are very easy to get. Let's go to Christian M. Elon, buy the Raiders and fire everyone. I mean, Elon knows how to run shit, man. Raiders 75. Damn. Gilbert Mejia. Let's go Raiders. I appreciate that you're being able to stay uppity up, but you know what? That was a tough game to watch. Michael Myers, McDaniels is fired tomorrow. Who agrees? I would fire him, but I never would have hired him in the first place. The issue is, I don't think you move on from him, man. I really don't. So y'all let me know right now. What do you do with McDaniels? Do you fire him or do you keep him? I would fire him in a heartbeat. To me, it can't get much worse. This is you got to look at this game as being the biggest game of the season. You have to. Because every game from here on out, you got to think of playoff caliber football. And you lost this game. It was a major drop. Your entire team from top to bottom was not ready to win. That falls on your coaching staff. I'd fire that mother effer really freaking quick. Raider Gaines, you don't need a rebuild. You need leadership. You're right. And your two leaders right now, Josh McDaniels doesn't have a backbone, and Derek Carr, I'm sorry, from the jump, was acting like a baby back bitch. He was. A baby back basic Mitch. That's what you're getting. The offense is a Ferrari stuck in first gear. The defense is like a 69 Chevelle that hasn't been restored yet. I don't disagree with anything you're saying, man. Let's go to Guillermo. How is it that the Raiders had less talent last season and still won 10 games? Coaching. Players believing in each other. You don't have that this season. Let's go to Bobby. Dude, what the F is going on? Fans since 98 ain't changing. Oh, dude, nothing's going to change. You know, there's that saying, Raider Nation, win, lose, or tie. Raider Nation till I die. It's going to stay like that. But you are allowed to vent. Raider fans invest enough time, enough money to be able to vent. You're allowed to do so. Cameron, offense completely responsible for this loss. Yes. I'll say, when I think about my overall blame, number one, Josh McDaniels. Number two, Derek Carr. Number three, I'll put it on the defense. The defense was put in some tough situations today. Do not get me wrong. But the defense also early on could not get stops when they needed to get stops. And it's not like the Saints have a good offense. They don't. The Saints missed. They didn't have Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas, and the Saints defense didn't even have Marshawn Lattimore. Kevin Creary wants Abby back. She was ripping on us. She is a Saints fan. Also, Savannah Jean, you get to pick Abby's jersey. So if you want to DM me, please make sure you do so. We can figure that out, though. Also, it looks like Roger Goodell's in the chat. Bad influence. I want to keep Carr only because I don't see a better option. See, to me, though, you're not going to get where you need to go with Derek Carr at quarterback. I think that's almost evident at this point. And a lot of people are like, oh, you can't always put it on Carr. I don't disagree from a talent standpoint, but there is that leadership factor. If your quarterback is going to look like a scared little puppy, that's going to feed off into the rest of your team. I want a quarterback that when he goes into the huddle commands respect. Somebody that everyone can look at and be like, this is our leader. I don't know. Derek just didn't have it tonight. Leave McDaniels in New Orleans. I would. I wouldn't let him get on the plane. Leave him in there. See Gabe go. Last time we went 4-0 in the preseason, we only won 3 or 4 games during the regular season. Looks like it's happening again. This team's too talented to win only 3 or 4 games. I do think that's a little bit of a stretch. We'll see what happens at the NFL trade deadline if they decide to go full fire sale. I hope that's not the case. I still hope that they try to win games because I know I'm going to show up to work every single week, put in my best effort. I know Jeremy Chuggs is going to do the exact same thing, so that's what I'm hoping for. Let's go to X-Wing. I think I'm going to dress up as a clown tomorrow for having hope in this team. I dressed up as Harley Quinn, and I was hoping we'd be able to celebrate today's win. I was hoping to be able to see a lot of good. Unfortunately, not a lot of good in this one. Not a lot of good, man. All right, y'all, let's go to Hellcat Q. What a waste of Harley Quinn costume. You're right. It was a waste. Juice 3, fire McDaniels. Kellen Moore in. So Kellen Moore is one of those dudes where I would actually take Kellen Moore over McDaniels. I had Kellen Moore ranked higher than McDaniels. In fact, first time I did my Raiders coaching candidate list, I didn't have McDaniels on the list because I wanted nothing to do with him. He's not a leader of men. Let's go to Anthony Perez. I swear if I don't see a roster move, you're going to see a roster move. Don't get me worried. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I don't know if it's going to be what you want. The fact that they lost this game, there are a lot of teams right now trying to get a running back. If teams are trying to trade for Alvin Kamara, what makes you think that they're not going to try to trade for Josh Jacobs? I think Buffalo Bills give you a call this week and they say, hey, what do you want for Josh? I think that happens this week. PG, start, fire, sale, just doesn't matter. You can say it doesn't matter. I still want them to try to win football games. They have a talented enough team where you could still win football games. Daniel, O-line and defense are the reasons we lost, not DC. Daniel, I'm sorry. I think you're crazy, bro. Let's go to Devin. My spirit hurts from this game. Much love to our nation. Stay strong, y'all. We made it through Jamarcus Russell. We will make it through today. I agree. It's just now with more media coverage that there is out there, the losses, they seem like they hurt a little bit more. Wild one. Dr. Rich Bisaccia, you're needed in surgery. Code blue. Oh, man. Bisaccia again, though. To me, this is going to be a crazy thing. With the team that the Raiders have now, he's not the guy that I would bring in. Offensive line allowed him to get hit more than any other QB in the NFL. When? Today? I mean, the offensive line didn't play great today. I don't disagree with that. However, even when Derek had time to throw, he didn't make good throws. He didn't make good reads. He had happy feet. He's unable to step up into the pocket. He's unable to roll out of the pocket when the pocket collapses. He didn't play well today. I'm not saying the offensive line played good. They didn't. But Derek needs to be better. When you're paid the amount of money that Derek Carr is paid, when you're given the amount of offensive talent that Derek Carr has been given, you need to make plays. We got to stop making excuses for this guy at this point. Let's go to Blood. How do you go into the half with one play and not throw a Hail Mary down by 17? Saints, no timeouts, fire McDaniels. I actually agree with you. So one of the things that I thought was kind of, again, Raiders just play scared all the time. 4 seconds to go. Why not just throw one deep? Throw one deep. You got nothing to lose at that point. And if pass interference is called, you get to run another play. It's just the coaching staff here, they don't play aggressive. They just always play reserve. Offense and defense. Coaching staff. Daniel, I don't give a damn what anyone says. You don't hire a Patriots coach to coach the Raiders. Tuck rule. Al Davis would never hire a Pats coach to run this team. You said it. Let's go to Amen. I say sell the barn, Will Levis area. We need to sell everything. So Will Levis, I do think, is actually more realistic than the Raiders getting than somebody like a Bryce Young, a CJ Stroud. The Raiders aren't a bottom 5 team to me. They're not. But if you want to be able to get a quarterback, Will Levis is probably going to be the guy that falls a little bit. I just don't know if I necessarily believe in him. Playoffs. You talking about playoffs. Not great, Cameron. Alvin Kamara. Out here assaulting people and off the field. Wow. I mean, he definitely beat up the Raiders today. I expected a blowout from like the Chiefs or a powerhouse, but the Saints, this giving me flashbacks to the Jets game in 19. I mean, it gives me back to that 13 or 34-3 loss to the Jets, that 43-6 loss to the Falcons. Raiders after a bye. Not been great for a long time. LC Raider, I love DC, but man, I'm getting so tired of making an excuse for him at this work. I've defended him as long as I've been our quarterback. My heart hurts, Mitch. I don't blame you. I like Derek Carr. Everybody here wants to root for Derek Carr. He's a good guy. He is a good guy. He's the guy that everybody wants to like. But you know what? Just because you say all the right things doesn't mean you're the right man for the job. And I've been out on DC for kind of a while. I was hoping with new offensive firepower, you'd be able to get this thing going. Derek's a good quarterback. As far as I'm concerned, though, from what I've seen, you need more than just a good quarterback to win in the NFL. Gilbert, Mitch, it's not about the players, it's about our history. I don't know what you're referring to. Devin, McDaniels' season ends with Jacksonville, honestly, with a loss. I don't have a great answer. If you can't, to me, if you don't get fired after this game, I don't know if you get fired. I don't know if you get fired. I don't think he does get fired. I don't. I think no matter what, they stick with this freaking fool. That's the problem. All right, y'all. Remember, you can always interact with me on social media the entire season at Mitchell Renz 365. We can also do a lot of giveaways and stuff through Venmo, as also at Mitchell Renz 365. So shout out to y'all. An embarrassing loss for the Raiders, 24-0.